Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you all so much for coming to committee night. We've recessed from the afternoon, and usually we do our territorial acknowledgement in the afternoon, but while you are all here, I wanted to share that I was at a conference last week on homelessness, and each day's session started with Indigenous leaders, some elders, discussing their gratitudes, the gratitude for all that they have been given on earth by Creator, the challenges that their communities face, housing in particular, which was the focus of the conference, and also they did it with such humor. And one of the presenters said, no matter how challenging everything is, everyone here has come here with good intentions. And I think that that's a great message, particularly for tonight, with all of you here who have volunteered your time and your talents to give back to the city that you love, one of the cities you love. I'm sure you love many cities. And you've done so with good intentions. So even when things go astray and awry, it's really heartening to remember that we've all come with good intentions, and we can hearken back to that and remember when we're in conflict. So welcome and thank you, and I'm going to use my chair's prerogative to say two things. First of all, there's a reception after all of this, so we're saying that now so that we welcome you to stay. Don't just leave after your presentation unless, of course, you have to or want to. You're welcome, and we'd love to chat with you afterwards and share snacks and drinks. And then also, I'll let the mayor, maybe if she wants to speak about it a little bit more, but there's this poppy project that's being led by the Clay and Glass Gallery, with all proceeds going towards the Legion. This, of course, is not the official poppy of the Legion, but it's to commemorate Remembrance Day in a different way all through the year, because it's a magnet. So if you go to the front doors, you'll see all around these particular poppies, not glued, magneted to the wall. And they're by donation if you'd like to make a donation. I don't yet know how you can make one or where you should give your money to, but we can find that out. So should you want to take one home, and should you want to make a donation of $5, $10, $20, $100 to the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery, which they will give to the Legion, you are welcome to do so. Yeah, and I think that's it for me, though it is nice to have a captive audience, so I should try and think of something else to say. That sufficed. Everyone left. We may move on. Number 10, disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof. Does anyone on council? Okay, moving on to our presentations and delegations for the night, starting with Waterloo Economic Development Advisory Committee, which Councillor Hanmer is the chair of. There's Mark Babulal. Please, I'd love to know how to say your name when you come up. Apologies for that. And Jacob Bloomgare, the chair and vice chair.
Good evening, Mayor, Chair, Council, fellow presenters, staff, members of the community. It's a pleasure to be here alongside my protege, Jacob. We're from WEDAC. I say that because I had to, stiff arm him in to be vice chair. No, just kidding. We plan to give you an overview of WEDAC, who we are, what we've done, and the things that we're looking for towards in the future. Next slide. In terms of the group, our group consists of three main groups: business community members, which we have 9, higher education, represented by the 3 higher education universities in town. Also, council and staff, we have 5. Councillor Hamler's already been mentioned. We also have the mayor, Tim Anderson, CAO, Justin McFadden, Executive Director of Economic Development, and we're all held together by somebody named Aaron Miles, who does a great job. In terms of our mandate, we really have 3 things that we focus on It's mainly to advise council and staff on matters relating to economic development at the city, excuse me, to act as a resource on economic development projects and initiatives, and to act as a conduit to and from the business community. In terms of this year and the focus that we've had in our first term of this new term, we started the year with not to everyone's surprise, talking about tariffs and the impact of uncertainty to our businesses. We were fortunate to get the conversation going early with the city and saw the initial impact plan put together by staff, which I think was shared with council in May. In terms of other responses, we utilized the TCIP program to provide funding for the Accelerator Center's new health tech incubator program as a response to generate more business inside of our community and grow more businesses. In terms of development, spent a lot of time looking at HAF, particularly the grants and the initiatives. The entire program itself is geared towards new development. And of course, one of the interesting aspects of it is making systemic change. So we've actually looked at the CPPS project where we're automating and streamlining processes. In terms of development, we also looked at many updates around Generation Park in Waterloo. And currently, we're very active in subcommittee on the development charges bylaw update, which is filled with a lot of complexity. In 2025, we also spent time talking about AI opportunities. We had a great presentation talking about responsible AI, in particular to government, and I think it was an eye-opener to the group. We certainly learned a lot and we have a lot more to learn. We also extended support for the new hospital build plan, given that it's going to be providing new ground for healthcare technology and innovations. In terms of more general economic development, we continue to get updates on the Economic Development Reserve Fund and expenditures tied to that. We focus also on arts and creative industry promotion and sponsor support through the Lumen program, and also spent time really looking at the culture plan report. From there, we also had updates on Explore Waterloo Region for tourism development with RT04, and continued the relationship with Waterloo Economic Development Corporation with updates from the CEO, Tony Lamantia. This year we passed two important motions, the first one being, excuse me, recommending that the City Council endorse the strategy for Waterloo Regional Economic Development Strategy, which of course is a key input in shaping our city's economic development strategy. Also, as we mentioned before, the TICP application was used, and support for health tech for Accelerator Center. In terms of future priorities, we'll continue to work on the strat plan, focusing in on innovation and being future ready, providing input to the new economic development strategy as that work has started already. It goes without saying we're all worried about housing crisis, including affordability and housing for workers, new workers that come to the area. Strategic land development is a continual conversation. Growth for our arts and creative industries, and ongoing support for our post-secondary institutions. And lastly, continuing the conversation on AI opportunities. With that in mind, I'd like to thank everybody for the hard work that went into the presentation, and on behalf of the WEDAC team, we want to continue our conversation working with Council in this capacity. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm going to leave it to Councillor Hanmer to offer any comments or questions to start.
Thank you, Chair, through you. Mark and Jacob, thank you so much for hitting the highlights of a very busy year that WEDAC has had. And Jacob, special thanks for stepping up. You were arm twisted a little bit. I do remember that meeting, but it is great experience. This particular committee, I'm always impressed with the willingness of members to just do that deeper dive on some of the topics that have come before us. And I think that's helped quite a bit in the recommendations that have come forward. So a lot of that is thanks to both of you in the leadership and the membership of the committees. Also very much supported by our staff. You've already talked about Justin and his team, and I think we've come up with a lot of really good things this year, and I look forward to where we go next year. So thank you very much for presenting today.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Jenny Flagler-George, who is the chair from Age-Friendly Waterloo Advisory Committee, which I'm the council liaison for, as well as Mayor McCabe.
Thanks, everyone. I'm happy to be here tonight to speak on behalf of Age-Friendly Waterloo. We like to always start with the stats to really underscore the importance of embedding an age-friendly lens in city activity. In 2021, adults age, 55 plus represented 27.2% of the local population. And in terms of numbers growing over time, by 2026, the number of older adults in Waterloo is expected to grow to almost 40,000. So when we talk about the importance of embedding an age-friendly lens, this is important to many residents as well as their families. So as an advisory committee, we seek to provide advice to the city related to how to embed an age-friendly lens into various activities. You see a number of them listed here, which we've been able to contribute to over the course of the last year. I'm going to focus on one of them so that I don't go on for too long. One being the opportunity we had to have committee members provide feedback and advice on an application to the Provincial Seniors Community Grant Program, which was successfully received by the committee. This is a grant that now supports community programming staff in working alongside residents of naturally occurring retirement communities, or NORCs, to determine what kind of health, wellness, and community building programs they would like to see in their buildings. So NORCs, more broadly, is a geographic term to describe a neighborhood or building where there is naturally higher density of older adults of 30% or more above the age of 65. And the city is in particular focused on high-rise buildings. And the sentiment behind this is that it's important to be able to provide resources and supports to residents where you can support aging in the right place. So it helps people hopefully to stay in their homes longer where they would like to be. So the city is currently working on 3 NORC programs established, all operating at different stages. And it supports community leadership by having 1 to 3 residents signed up as NORC ambassadors to support those in these naturally occurring retirement communities to access shared resources, including things like shared programming for entertainment and collaboration to really combat loneliness and isolation as well. So that was one that our committee continues to be very excited to get to hear about and provide advice on as it moves forward. We also had the opportunity to provide feedback and be engaged in the City of Waterloo's Age-Friendly Action Plan, which was endorsed by Council in June 2025. Currently, this plan provides an inventory of age-friendly initiatives underway or soon to be implemented by staff teams across the city. And that helps us to better understand how to recruit new membership as well, because it more explicitly outlines what we'll be contributing to, as well as hearing about and learning about from city staff who come to the committee. And it also lays the groundwork for the next age-friendly action plan. On an annual basis, our committee is also very excited to be able to support promotion as well as evaluation against the criteria for Senior of the Year. This year's Senior of the Year was Bill Carter, who was celebrated in June, which is Seniors Month, and has had active participation in community involvement of various kinds for the past 50 years. So this is something that committee members are very actively in support of, to be able to support the contributions and continued contributions of older adults in Waterloo. As a committee, we also like to maintain close ties by reaching out to those who do similar work or complementary work to what we do. We hear regular updates from the Research Institute for Aging. Many of our committee members are really actively involved in the research community, as well as updates from the Waterloo Public Library. We also maintain our larger connection to the global network of age-friendly cities and communities, which we've been members of for, I believe, since 2011. We also participate actively in Southern Ontario Age-Friendly Network, where committees are able to share learnings and collaborate to scale and spread best practices. And membership of our committee contributes to the Waterloo Region Age-Friendly Network, which runs a number of initiatives, including the Pathways to Aging webinar series, as well as talking collaboratively about activities that are more of a regional focus, spanning across Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge. Looking forward, we're really going to be focusing on expanding our membership now that we have a solid action plan. Continuing our input on current city initiatives that come forward that really have an opportunity to embed that age-friendly lens, and working on our next phase of the age-friendly action plan, as well as continuing to host or contribute to annual events like Senior of the Year and Ride a Bus. Questions?
Thanks, Jenny. As you can all see, Jenny is the chair, and she does an excellent job chairing, and is my model for how to chair a meeting. Look at how organized this presentation was. You just really kept it on track. She always does, with humor.
I also have to thank the Mayor McCabe and Councillor Bassick, Beth and Pam and Amy for their contributions to the committee as well.
Thank you. You picked up on my subtle clues that you didn't thank us yet. Thank you.
And I swear it was on my last slide.
I think, and yes, so on behalf of Mayor McCabe and I'm sure staff as well, I think we do thank you very much for all you give to this committee, Jenny, and the committee members who are here and those who didn't make it tonight. You are a well-connected bunch with a wealth of knowledge, and I've learned tons from this committee. It's really quite something. And one of the things I wanted to touch on from your presentation is just how key the social isolation piece is. So at this homelessness conference, of course, older adults, seniors are increasingly becoming a large portion of the homeless population, and underhoused or precariously housed. And one of the key, of course, you need housing, so that's a core aspect of it. But when you talk about NORCs, it does touch on the isolation that older adults can also feel in their communities, particularly if they have to move out of their neighborhoods and find a new place to live. And so older adult housing and community building and reducing isolation is such a key topic right now, and so I'm sure we'll be talking about that more. And I'm really grateful to be on the committee, because I probably wouldn't have gone to those sessions had I not been on the committee, but it's such an emerging concern. So anyways, thank you so much. Mayor McCabe, do you want to say anything?
Thank you through you, Chair, and thank you, Jenny, and thank you, Mark and Jacob before Jenny, for the work that you do. I just wondered, in addition to echoing the comments that Councillor Bassick had to say, I was just wondering if you could explain the Ride a Bus just for the benefit of the people who are here and people who are maybe watching online, because the city doesn't, we're not transit, and I just thought that might actually maybe be a question mark for some people, why we don't run transit. That's a regional responsibility, but why do we do the Ride a Bus?
Yeah, so that's a fantastic question. The reason why we do Ride a Bus is because it's an excellent opportunity to partner with Grand River Transit, who is an active partner in Ride a Bus initiatives that happen across Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge. And the sentiment behind this is that as folks age, many times they would like to have additional access to various forms of public transportation, and a bus being a key form of that public transportation. But many folks are skittish when it comes to trying something new. So Grand River Transit has partnered with Age Friendly Waterloo, as well as the committee in Kitchener and Cambridge, to host days where they come and provide information sessions, and then actually do a tour on the bus to show folks how to access the bus and what it's like, what the routes are, to really help to encourage growing usage among older adults.
Thanks very much, Jenny. Really appreciate all the work you do, and to the committee members as well.
Sorry, thank you. I was trying to find out if you're on the ANOVA Board of Directors so that I can mention that you're also on committees. Yeah, because there's no committees here that you can comment on, so I was just making sure you are on ANOVA. Are you? I know, okay. Thank you so much, Jenny. We're going to move on to the Sustainability Advisory Committee. That Councillor Bodley sits on that committee as a council liaison, and presenters today are Heather Levile and John Coco.
Thank you for having us today. My name is Heather Levay. You were close. French-Canadian, so Levay. But thank you for having us, and this is John. We're here to present on behalf of SAC, which is the Sustainability Advisory Committee. We're going to take you through just a really quick committee background, who we are, where we come from, a year in review. Then we'll go through our 3 subcommittees, so the Green Building Subcommittee, Data and Measurement Subcommittee, and then Uptown Waterloo Visioning, where they are, what they're doing, and who they are. And then we'll look at other initiatives and looking ahead. So the committee background, it's a collection of community members, business professionals, sustainability experts, like the gentleman standing next to me, and student members. This committee was formed back in 2016 as an evolution of the Environmental Advisory Committee. In general, this group fully supports a greener and more sustainable City of Waterloo in all aspects. And in this, the committee provides advice to council on matters pertaining to environmental sustainability and climate action. And one just note to point out here, Matt Tyson has been the chair from 2016 to 2025 for 9 years. So we just wanted to shout out Matt, saying thank you for your guidance and your support for the last 9 years, and recognize him for his commitment to sustainability and this committee overall. I won't go through every detail on this. We've done a lot in 2025, but the slide sums up kind of the major endeavors and activities for the Sustainability Committee achieved this past year. In the beginning of the year, a new 2-year term began. We inaugurated some new members, and we reviewed and provide feedback on a multitude of different delegations and initiatives. Some of these include a vision of Uptown Waterloo, Sustainability and Climate Action Change Report, recently Sugarbush South Corridor Expansion Initiative, plant-based treaties, and most recently the Beef Farmers of Ontario delegated as well. Further, we prepared some reports regarding Ontario's Bill 5 and Bill 17, both of which were accepted by Council, so thank you. Next, we will take you through some of the specific subcommittee updates, and I'll pass it over to John as he is the lead on the Green Building Subcommittee.
Thanks, Heather. And thank you to Councillor Bodley, who is our council liaison, and all the committee members. So from the Buildings Subcommittee perspective, based on some 2015 data, which is a little outdated, but nevertheless, it says that some 45% of greenhouse gas emissions come from buildings in the region. So it's a fairly important area if we're going to be working on our sustainability goals as the city has laid out. So we're trying to help and reduce that number And as the SAC committee, we're working to help look at the environmental impacts, while at the same time improving occupant health and well-being, lowering operating costs, and making recommendations that have new construction, renovation, existing buildings, both corporate and private, try to align with the city's sustainability goals. So some of our activities for this year have included reviewing and providing comment to the city on the high-performance development standards that Waterloo Community Energy has developed, discussing ongoing having ongoing discussions regarding the city's encouragement and of sustainable practices for private buildings, both large and home construction. We reviewed the Transform Waterloo Action Plan updates that were provided recently. We provided input on buildings to the Waterloo Visioning and Placemaking report that Heather's been talking about. And we're currently working on trying to find opportunities to incorporate those high-performance standards into the municipal planning, recognizing the limits that Bills 5 and 17 are imposing on us.
As far as the data and management subcommittee, the purpose is to identify, measuring, and reporting indicators across the industry and essentially highlight best practices and also stress some gaps. Some key activities from this year: examined municipal websites and reports, they cataloged and evaluated sustainability indicators, and they completed a comparison across municipalities in the region and the province. And then lastly, the Uptown Waterloo Visioning and Placemaking Subcommittee. The purpose of this committee is to guide the sustainable evolution of Uptown Waterloo, specifically the public spaces, and to reflect the city's environmental responsibility, accessibility, and ultimately livability. The key activities, they provided recommendations regarding the Willis Way pedestrianization report. And as well, this subcommittee has been working on preparing recommendations for Uptown Waterloo as a showcase in sustainability, which will be coming to council shortly. Other initiatives and looking ahead. So we plan to continue to review federal, provincial, and municipal government policies, bills, procedures, and provide recommendations and feedback to council, as we've been doing. The plans are to continue the work of the established subcommittees, so the green buildings, data management, and the Uptown Waterloo Visioning. And we've also added a plant-based, since the plant-based tree delegation this year, we've added another committee called Sustainable Foods and Practices to explore for 2026. So this committee is composed of very passionate and enthusiastic leaders, community members, and students who believe we are stewards of the environment. On behalf of this committee, we appreciate the opportunity to share this update and highlight the progress that we've made over the year. Thank you to Council for reviewing and approving our reports. We submitted, most notably, the reports on Bill 5 and Bill 17 this year, and we look forward to continuing to work collaboratively towards building a resilient and sustainable city of Waterloo.
Thank you so much for your presentation and all your work. Are there any questions, or shall I leave it with Councillor Bodley to comment? Go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Chair Bassick. Thanks, Heather and John, for being here, and I'll also recognize that Julia and Peter are here from the committee as well, who are on the data measurement and the Uptown Visioning subcommittees as well too, and I appreciate all the work that you guys have put in. This is my 7th year being on the Sustainability Advisory Committee, and I just love the work that we do at this committee. I know that we've got tons of passionate folks who bring a lot of really good expertise and help lighten the load from a capacity perspective on staff, and I'll acknowledge that Anna Ristic is also here, who is our staff liaison to this committee, who does excellent job in the meetings as well too, and coordinating all the work that that everyone has put forward. So just wanted to take the time to say thank you guys for coming in. I look forward to continuing to work with you guys in the next year. Thank you.
Thank you to you too.
Oh, we have a question or comment from Mayor McCabe as well before you sit down.
Thank you. Just a quick comment. I just wanted to say thank you as well to, you have a big committee and you have a really ambitious committee with 3 different subcommittees. So thank you very much for that. And thank you as well for, continuing to work on things like green building and high performance development standards, even though we know it's been in the face of some significant opposition. Locally, but also, Bill 5 and Bill 17 really threw a wrench at municipalities in terms of trying to, do some, well, I think really proactive but important work on those fronts. But I'm glad to hear that you're still working on it and still, because things change, and they won't change unless we keep, putting good policies and ideas forward like that. So thank you very much for
Thank you.
taking this on. It's a really sustainability and climate change are just really important issues, and we wouldn't be able to achieve the type of things we're achieving in the city, and we know there's always more to do, but thank you really for what you put into this.
Thank you.
Okay, hopefully we'll find some workarounds.
Thanks, Heather and John. Next up is the Town and Gown Committee, which Councillor Rowe and Mayor McCabe sit on as council liaisons. And Chris Reed is committee chair presenting tonight.
Thanks very much. It's a privilege to be here to present to council tonight on behalf of our committee, which is made up of a wide variety of folks who are very passionate about town and gown issues as they relate to the city of Waterloo and our post-secondary institutions. Am I driving this here, or is that? There we go, beauty. Here's our agenda for the presentation tonight. We'll give a little bit of an overview of the mandate of the committee, share some information about our members. We'll share a little bit of information about projects that we've been working on over the last year. And then at our most recent meeting, we started to chart the course for the next set of meetings coming up and potentially new issues that we may want to tackle. Committee mandate, as I think council well knows, is to discuss and bring forward issues that pertain to the post-secondary institutions in our city, as well as the wide variety of stakeholders that sit around the table, including permanent residents, city staff, Waterloo Regional Police, et cetera. So we're really fortunate to have such a strong engagement from our student representatives on the committee from Waterloo, Laurier, and Conestoga. And they really drive the conversation and help us really make sure that we're bringing forward the issues that are relevant to students. I think we can all agree that students bring a real richness and in a lot of ways are the lifeblood to our city. We notice when they're not here, and we sure notice when they come back. And so here you can see the membership that we have. As I said, really terrific student engagement. This has been the case for the last 2 or 3 years on the committee. Not only coming to the meetings, but working hard in between the meetings to further our conversations and research projects and whatnot that we collectively agree are very important. Councillor Rowe is our council liaison, as you can see here. And we've also rounded out our committee with a staff member from the region as well as the city of Kitchener. So our projects in 2025 focused on community building and partnerships. Those are kind of the things that we count as a little bit more fun. 2 more serious issues that we collectively agreed we would spend some time talking about: international student supports and food security. I can say a little bit more about each of those as we go forward here. Community building, we thought we'd highlight one initiative that we worked on together, and this was for startup back in September, called Waterloo Fest. It's been a kind of a long-standing program as part of the new student transition activities back to campuses. But some renewed effort was put in by members of our student associations, the Uptown BIA, city staff, community organizations, local businesses and whatnot. And on September 3rd, we had just an amazing turnout where we had about 4,000 students show up and get oriented to the endless possibilities that are there for them outside of their campus bubble. And to get 4,000 of them out to do that in the first week is I think, was a terrific accomplishment. I think everybody's probably aware of the scrutiny that the post-secondary sector has been facing with international students. This was identified over the last couple of years by our committee as something that was really important to us. Collectively, we agreed that we wanted to really understand the issues that were unique to international students as they attended our post-secondary institutions and assimilated into our local community. And so this was some hard work done by largely our students. City staff certainly supported this to try and understand these issues that were unique to international students and try and come up with ways that we could ensure that they integrated well and had a good chance for success when they attended our schools. So different consultation sessions at the three institutions, and taking that information forward, we saw an opportunity with the Immigration Partnership, who I understand was here earlier today, sharing that information with them so that it could be part of a bigger puzzle that was being put together. Finally, the last major project that we collectively tackled was on food security. Over the last 2 or 3 years on all of our campuses, Conestoga, Laurier, Waterloo, food insecurity for our students has certainly been rising and a major concern. So the committee together decided that they would do some work on this, and this has been some really intense and focused work. It's taken well over a year, pushing 2 years to get all the data together and really try and figure out how the efforts that were going on our campuses could integrate or did integrate with things that were going on already in the community. Just to give you an idea of the significance of the activity on the three campuses, there are now 10 different food security programs being run, largely by our student associations to try and support students. I think some of the main takeaways here that we learned from this work, the real need to collaborate citywide and with the region to try and make sure that there was good awareness of what was happening on the campuses. Often it can be a bit of a silo within the university and college campuses of this kind of thing, and it did come to be that as more research and work was done, we really identified that there was an opportunity here to be part of a larger network. And so that was a great takeaway and a really strong finding. The committee has just received the final report, or is on the verge of receiving the final report, and once we have that, we'll be looking for a committee discussion and determination of what to do next with the findings from that report. Again, I'd be remiss if I didn't really talk about how critical and valuable a resource our students who are part of the committee and their colleagues back on the campuses are. We wouldn't have the opportunity or bandwidth to look at some of this stuff if our students really didn't dive in and get involved in this, and so kudos to all of them. At our last meeting, we had some discussion about potential opportunities going forward for the Town and Gown Committee, and you can see some of them here. Certainly interested to hear the presentation from the Economic Development Committee here tonight. We have identified that that is something that could be a really good area of discussion and focus for our committee going forward. For example, just we know the value of the post-secondary institutions to the city, and exploring that and seeing if we can find a way to quantify that impact would really benefit, I think, all stakeholders of the Town and Gown Committee. Turn it back to you, and certainly happy to take questions.
Thanks so much, Chris. I actually have a question, but I don't know if anyone else has questions or just comments. Okay, Councillor Wright, and then I'll leave it to you. Well, I'll ask a question, and then you two for comments.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. Thank you for this report. It was really, I think it continues to be really alarming to see the situation with food security on campus. And so I just want to follow up on that. We heard earlier today from the Immigration Partnership as well about challenges that they're experiencing. And, you know, sometimes we have certain parties or organizations within the community who kind of have a bird's eye view and can work on aligning actors in the community so that we avoid duplication of effort, that we really can, because really what we're in is a scarcity situation where funding is being clawed back by other orders of government. So I'm just sort of wondering what Town and Gown can do in terms of that alignment piece specifically. You were touching on it and just hoping to maybe expand a little bit.
Yeah, I think Taylor from the Graduate Student Association from Wilfrid Laurier is here tonight, and she was certainly one of the lead investigators, researchers on this, and I think that was brought back to the committee, this real intentionality that there needs to be with the larger network so that there's not a duplication. There's awareness of what the opportunities are and what different programs are doing and whatnot. So Taylor and her team have produced a final report that we certainly want to share with other groups in the network and in the region to try and eliminate that duplication and really look for efficiency so we can get the most out of the resources that are going into it.
And just as a follow-up, I mean, you are not just a City of Waterloo committee, you're actually regional.
Well,
so
we're a
that-
committee of the city.
Yeah, right.
But certainly regional representatives, City of Kitchener representatives on our committee.
Yeah, okay, so it helps to tie together the sort of geographic spread of food insecurity on campus environments.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, even the main campus of Conestoga College obviously is not in the City of Waterloo, but such an important part of our network.
I'm curious if there's any research or understanding about if there is a link between defunding post-secondary institutions, which seems to be increasingly happening, and also civic engagement. So my curiosity there is about how important are University of Waterloo, Wilfrid Laurier University, Conestoga College, how important are they and the students and critical thinking skills that might develop there to the work the municipality does, or civic engagement and democratic engagement?
I don't know that it's necessarily a funding issue, but I do think this is something that is talked about on the post-secondary campuses from my experience over time. I mentioned the tendency at times for the campuses to operate in silos. And certainly we, one of the things that came up as an opportunity for our committee going forward is to find a way to utilize the research intensity that goes on a lot of our campuses and share that and bring that to the local community. I think we need to keep making an effort to integrate what happens on the campuses with the local community. And, there's always room for improvement when it comes to that.
Yeah, thanks. Councillor Rowe.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Thank you so much, Chris, for the report. I really enjoy sitting on this committee, and I think you really highlight the strengths of the committee, which are the different partners from across the region that come together to really look at the well-being of students. And the student participation is critical, and I personally value the conversations, and I know that it really does benefit the students. So thank you for chairing, for your hard work, and also for staff and their contributions as well. And just to touch on the food security piece, that was a really incredible amount of work and really valuable piece going forward for the community and to make those connections that we're talking about. So thank you so much.
Agreed, thank you.
I'll add my 2 cents to just say, there's a lot of communities across Ontario or across Canada that most communities don't have the benefit of having 2 universities and a college campus in their community. And Waterloo simply wouldn't be Waterloo without the contributions and that these institutions provide to the city and to the community. So I think, we're an extremely fortunate city because we have students who are here, as you said, when they're gone, we miss them. The city's a little quieter. When we're here, it's a much more vibrant place. Sometimes there's challenges, and we try to work through those. But overall, it adds to our economic development. It adds to our overall vibrancy, particularly in the uptown and in our core and our retail businesses and things. And then, of course, there's the connections through partnerships that the city has with all the institutions, with co-ops, to research projects, to, the Future Cities Institute. And, you could just, someone asked me, another mayor asked me not too long ago about, how does your city work with the universities? Are there very many opportunities for partnerships? And I was like, are you serious? Like, how long do you want me to talk about this? It really, as I said, it really is a tremendous advantage to the city and the region as well. So thank you all. And then, of course, Town and Gown, just solidifies that relationship and the partnership opportunities. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Chris. Up next is Heritage Committee, which Councillor Rose sits on, and Philip Ellsworthy is here.
Good evening, Chair Vasic, Mayor McCabe, and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to provide a few remarks on municipal heritage. But I'd first like to start by acknowledging Council Member David Shen, who is here, and our staff liaison, Adam Zufferly, who is sitting over in the back there. And I want to speak about the challenges and work ahead for the next year. And to begin with a little background. So about 2 years ago, the Municipal Heritage Committee recommended 46 properties in central Waterloo to be studied by Timmins Martel Heritage Consultants to see whether they were worthy of designation. And a year ago in May, they had prepared inventory sheets for 40 properties that they felt were defensible as far as the heritage value of those properties. However, the revised council agenda for last February 24th listed 14 properties to move ahead with notices of intention to designate. And during the course of the day, all but 2 were removed from that list, and the council passed 2 notices of intention to designate to move ahead. And the rest were withdrawn, I believe, due to objections from the current owners. Now, I should say that municipalities have both the power and the obligation to designate properties, whether the owners approve or not. And this is supported by the Ontario Superior Court of Justice in a case which took place in 2003 of Tremblay versus the town of Lakeshore. But I think that it was generally thought that incentives, in fact, would be quite helpful in getting more compliance and interest in designation. And there are probably several ways that this could be accomplished. The one is through heritage property tax relief, which is enabled under Section 365.2 of the Municipal Act. And it seems like a good solution. And I believe staff are working on that. But time is marching on, and in 14 months, or on January the 1st, 2027, all listed but not designated properties will be removed from the municipal heritage register according to provincial regulation. So that is roughly 150 properties, including about 75 in the Mary Allen neighborhood. So there are several possibilities for Mary Allen. One could be a heritage conservation district, which before instituting a formal process, probably informally, the neighborhood's support should be gauged. Secondly, would be to look at Part 4 designations for the most important properties in that neighborhood. And the third possibility is to do nothing, allowing old houses to be demolished for new ones, and for 4 units per lot as the province has permitted. So basically this remaining, what it would be, 38 properties should at some point be brought forward in the next year. And then there's work to do on other listed properties that really don't enjoy any protection. So there's a lot to be done.
Thank you, Phil. Does anyone have questions before I give it to Councillor Rowe? Okay, Councillor Rowe. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Julie, I thought you had a question. Thank you, through you, Chair. Thank you so much. Let me put my glasses on again so I can see. Thank you so much for coming and for presenting for the Municipal Heritage Committee. It's such an important committee, and I think the work that all the members of the committee do is incredibly important. And it also, what you're talking about is this tension between our past and moving forward, right? Mm-hmm. And the perceived loss or perceived barriers, I guess, to, I'm not phrasing this right. There's a perception that heritage designation is not necessarily a good thing. And I think that, as we discussed, having incentives, et cetera, is something that can help people understand better the benefits of that, because we are a rapidly growing city and we stand to lose so much of our character if we don't designate these properties. So thank you for highlighting that. I think it's really important to bring it to council, and I really appreciate it. And then I do have a question to Julie and to staff as well, if I could, because I just need a reminder, because we have discussed this, and I can turn this back to Ron, perhaps. We've talked about incentives with staff, and but I can't remember if it was a staff direction, or is this just conversations in the background? Julie, do you remember?
My understanding is that it's still in the works, and so I'll defer to Commissioner Ormson on that.
Through you, Chair Vasic, to Councillor Rowe. Councillor Wright, that is correct. Staff are working on it. As Mr. Ellsworthy mentioned, tax incentive programs are available to the city, and we want to explore that with our finance team and put it to the owners with the view that we would gain voluntary acceptance to have the properties registered. As noted, we have the legal authority to do it without their permission, but of course the first course of action and the first step we want to take is to gain buy-in and voluntary acceptance of that. If it doesn't, then staff will, if those owners are reluctant rather, staff would have to return to council for a decision on what to do with the balance of those properties. But we have engaged a consultant, a heritage consultant, who's trying to prioritize on the properties with the highest value, and those will return to council for consideration.
If I might just respond to Councillor Rowe. My view is that that property ownership is something temporary that we lose when we pass on to the next life, and I prefer to think of ourselves as stewards of land and property, and it lasts way longer than human beings do, and my own view is that we should look after it for the future.
Thank you. That's a really important perspective. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really love how you ended that. My first council term, the first year before COVID hit, I went to the federal municipalities conference in Quebec City, and I did a public art and heritage tour. And of course, Quebec is a different context where there's not that we do not have things to preserve here from our past, but that's just such an integral part of the story that they have of their province and of themselves as people. And so the province there invests so much money in public art and in heritage, and so does the federal government as a result, is what they said then. Of course, that could have changed. And so, of course, we also don't want heritage to prevent building housing that we need for the community, because, like you said, we're growing and we want to make things better for the future. At the same time, we do want to preserve our stories and our history. And quite honestly, it's just nice to live in a pretty place. And so I don't want to live amongst ugly things. I want to live amongst pretty things. And I think we all deserve that. And so that's part of what heritage does in conjunction with public art and art, which is equally as important, I think. So thanks for ending it like that and allowing me this little story about my first council term in heritage.
Well, I just have to respond to that too and say that
I'll allow it.
heritage designation and conservation is not totally inflexible. There are usually ways that you can use properties and develop them while maintaining the important heritage elements.
Yes, definitely. Thanks, Phil. Oh, Councillor Rowe has one more comment. Jenny, get snacks on the way out. Bye.
Yes, actually, I just wanted to make one more general comment that we are discussing like heritage and buildings, et cetera, but the committee also, and Phil, you certainly lead this too, we always often discuss our Indigenous heritage. And I think that's really important to note. We talk about archaeological studies, we talk about different, artifacts, etc. So that's another piece of our heritage that we talk about. So I didn't want to leave it just as the settlement that was here historically. So I appreciate that from you as well and all the information that you bring.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil. And the last presentation we have before staff reports, which is a presentation from GRAC, is the Creative Sector Advisory Committee, which Councillor Wright sits on as council liaison, and presenters are Kim Hong Nguyen and Rebecca Short.
Good evening, Council. Tonight's presentation is a collaborative effort of the Creative Sector Advisory Committee with the help of our staff liaison, Astero. And I'd like to introduce the members of the committee that could attend tonight. So myself is Kim Hong Nguyen, Vice Chair, Peter Pierce Alosia, Rebecca Short, who is also co-presenting with me, and Councillor Julie Wright. The Creative Sector Advisory Committee includes community members with an interest in arts, creative industries, or museum activities, and representatives from the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery, Button Factory Arts Centre, and Waterloo Public Library. In 2025, Councillor Wright represented council on the committee. In addition to regular monthly meetings, representatives of the Creative Sector Advisory Committee participate as part of the Grant Assessment Committee for the city's Arts Grant Program and the Public Art Committee.
Thanks, Kim. We're going to look first at the mandate of the Creative Sector Advisory Committee. The Creative Sector Advisory Committee provides information and advice to City Council and staff on matters regarding the creative sector in the City of Waterloo. The City of Waterloo understands the creative sector to be broadly inclusive of arts, which includes visual art, fine craft, music, theater, dance, literary arts, media arts, etc. Also, museums and galleries, which are very important for our community. Libraries, which we have many wonderful libraries in Waterloo, and also creative industries. So these are industries which could be businesses or startups or individual people in the area of film, design, graphic design, architecture, publishing, etc. So we understand that our mandate includes all of these committees. The work over 2025 has continued to support strategic priorities from the city's strategic plan. And the picture here is an installation from Lumen, which is also part of the city's creative industry programming for the year, which is a wonderful event.
In addition to being highlighted in the city's strategic plan, reconciliation, equity, accessibility, diversity, and inclusion have been identified as a priority by the creative sector. By leveraging our relationships with social and professional networks, committee members help to increase awareness of and access to programs, funding, and space by diverse communities. Committee members also help identify barriers and challenges that may limit participation of some members in city-run events and opportunities.
In terms of the strategic plan support, the committee actions have been to, this year, have been to review applications from developers with public art on their sites as part of the site plan approvals process. Also, the committee has participated as assessors on neighborhood picnic tables and artists in neighborhood programs and the Bike Lockers open call. We've reviewed one mural application as part of the CIP or Community Improvement Plan, which is administered by Economic Development and is designed to encourage property owners, businesses, and developers to undertake work projects that will enhance the community. The creative sector plays a critical role in community vibrancy and the creation of welcoming public spaces, particularly through the work of the Public Arts Committee. By encouraging innovative thinking, contributing to the great public spaces, and supporting paid opportunities for artists, the Creative Sector Advisory Committee is helping to build a greater community. And here's a picture of a painted picnic table by a local artist, Miho Nagayama, in Blue Stream Park, which was part of the neighborhood picnic tables program.
By connecting with local artists and organizations and by raising awareness of city-led programs and opportunities, the committee supports the work of the city's Economic Development Division and helps strengthen our local economy. In 2025, the committee played a key role in the delivery of the Arts Grant Program as part of the Grant Assessment Committee, supported participation in the Meanwhile Spaces program, and is contributing to the development of a new economic development strategy. And the picture there is from the art market on Willis Way for the Open Streets Festival in June.
Thank you. Looking at the 2026 key initiatives, the committee will assist with the development of a revised City of Waterloo culture plan and/or creative sector strategy. We will assist with the delivery of the arts grant programming, which is ongoing, and assist with the delivery of the public art program and the temporary public art program, again, two ongoing programs. In addition to continued work as part of the Arts Grant Assessment Committee and the Public Art Committee, the committee will play an important role in the development of the new culture plan, the creative sector strategy, and a revised economic development strategy. And this photo is of art banners found on Waterloo Park Art Walk, which is an outdoor exhibit that stretches through Waterloo Park from Caroline Street to Seagram Drive. I'm sure you've seen a lot of those.
And in conclusion, I'll just say really quickly that there was a recent report from the Canadian Chamber of Commerce that says that every dollar of the government invests in arts generates $29 in economic activity. And in the last 3 years, there was 8% growth in the arts sector, which outpaced the growth of the Canadian economy overall, which sits at 4%. So we're happy to take any questions.
Thanks so much, Kim and Rebecca, especially for highlighting that last really important statistic as well, and all the work that you're doing. Any questions, comments? Councillor Wright?
Thank you, through you, Chair. Thank you so much, Kim and Rebecca, for that report, and Kim also for sharing that Canadian Chamber of Commerce report from their Business Data Lab. I think one of the things that is really underappreciated right now is that the amount of jobs that are created by arts and creative industries, and that Chamber of Commerce also points to that, noting that there are 13 jobs for every $1 million in output, and it's more than oil, gas, manufacturing, or agriculture. It's an extremely efficient industry, the creative sector, and it would really behoove us to make this investment in our own community, and we hope that as the culture plan comes together for its next duration, that we can really double down on that and really realize the total value that we're contributing to the community, not just in terms of artworks, but the public benefit of it is huge. So we want to definitely create that positioning. Thank you so much for everything the committee has done to date.
So if I could just say a word on that. I think that the benefits to the community are palpable. They are huge. They infuse into every part of community life. I always say that when you look at ancient civilizations, you don't hear a lot about what particular plan they had for water or for building necessarily, or for something else. You always hear about what was their culture. I think that's really important. And the other thing about arts and culture is when you have participants who engage in arts and culture, they are very enthusiastic. They love to do what they do. They're enthusiastic, they're excited, and we benefit from their enthusiasm and excitement. Thank you.
I just wanted to briefly say thank you very much for the work you do and for that. Because you're both, and you're both, Rebecca and John are both here, and there was a reference in the slides to the Garden of Poppies. I just wanted you to know that at the start of council tonight, Councillor Vasic just referenced the work that you'd done on the poppies and did just an explanation about people can pick the poppies and make a donation before they leave tonight.
Right,
So just
right.
wanted to share that as well.
Yeah, these are original ones by John Short. Yeah. Oh. Who's over there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, thanks so much. So we're moving on to staff reports, and this is the 2025 highlights from GRAC, the Grand River Accessibility Advisory Committee. Alyssa Cleland and Tamara Cooper are here, and Councillor Hanmer is the liaison on this committee.
Good evening, mayors, members of council, community member, and staff. My name is Tamara Cooper, and with me is Alison McLean. We are GRAC co-chairs from the Grand River Accessibility Advisory Committee. Currently, we have 15 members who are living with disability, caregivers of those with disability, and representative of various disability organizations on the committee. We have 7 municipalities represented and 6 current members from Waterloo. Currently, we are having hybrid meetings that will facilitate persons who can't come in person, and also, so just to have a win-win situation. We consult with and guide staff on accessibility initiatives in the municipalities and region. Alyssa will take over. You can go.
Okay, so here are some statistics. According to the region of Waterloo and Statistics Canada, 27% of Canadians aged 15 and older live with one or more disabilities that limit them in their daily activities. That's an increase from 2017, when 22% of the population had a disability. This number jumps to 40% for seniors. Approximately 14.4% of Waterloo residents are over 65. About 5.4% of Ontarians have children under 5. When environmental factors such as snow and ice are added to these realities, winter mobility becomes a significant accessibility challenge, one that requires coordinated solutions. Waterloo Council allocated funds for GRAC to help identify priorities for additional snow clearing supports. A working group was formed through GRAC to generate ideas for priorities. Naturally, they related to the experiences that were shared within the group. There were so many important experiences that we felt it was important to compile them into a report. The report is currently in development and will aim to highlight barriers, opportunities, and suggestions for winter mobility. People with disabilities experience additional challenges during winter, which make some unable to fully participate in society. People are left stranded due to not being able to get to public transit. Many times, sections of sidewalks are simply unsafe and difficult to navigate due to sidewalks not being clear enough. It only takes one unclear or not cleared well enough sidewalk to prevent people from going where they need to. People have missed medical appointments with specialists, and many find themselves at home for long periods of time due to snow buildup. The isolation we experienced during COVID is what a typical snowy winter is like for many Ontarians who need clear sidewalks to access. And there is no single solution that can work for everyone for this. The city implemented programs to support residents who are unable to do the snow clearing themselves. These responses help some individuals, but not all of the population that experiences mobility challenges. There are many people with disabilities who do not own their home and still need help with winter accessibility. Additionally, the complaints-based system is not good for people that don't know the address they want to report. You need to be able to see it at minimum or understand your surroundings in order to report it. This model also is challenging for those who may not want to make a complaint against their landlord or neighbor for fear of mistreatment or strained relationships. The priorities the committee is suggesting for snow clearing support include providing an emergency fund to assist people who cannot navigate the snow, building awareness, educating the public about the impact of unclear sidewalk, as well as what they can do to help their neighbors. providing equipment like sand/salt bins, shovels, etc. in more locations across the city. Next slide, please. There's more highlights, as you can see. So, snow is a big concern, especially snow clearing, because it limits freedom and it causes isolation to so many of us. But that's not all we've been talking about. We have participated in many projects, and I'll share a few of them with you. GRAC celebrated its 20th anniversary, and we've done a lot of work, but it's very far from being over. More tactile features were added to AMCC, or are being added rather. These include the tactile guidance system, which is used for people like myself who are totally blind. You are very familiar with the warning portion of the tactile guidance system, which these are the truncated domes seen on street corners and subway platforms. The other portion is the wayfinding raised lozenge shaped paths, which allow people who are blind the ability to access important locations such as doors, bathrooms, and reception desks. Waterloo needs to be commended in their exceptional leadership in embracing the tactile guidance system in its entirety. Please do check out the Rim Park and please do check out the Rim Park Library and Waterloo Recreation Center to see the great work you are doing with this tactile guidance system. And please do not forget to congratulate yourselves. It's truly awesome. We have reviewed projects such as Lexington Road, Fountain Street, the Dearborn Building, and Woodlily Park. Auditing Visitor and Heritage Information Center, Fire Stations 2 and 4, with Laurier kinesiology students. We had the learning days. So we did guide dogs, about guide dogs. Staff learned about many types of guide dogs and how they are used. And there was another learning day about, it was a barriers tour. And both learning opportunities were well received. We led a Jane's walk. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. And toward the kids.
You're doing great.
Oh.
Sorry to interrupt. You're doing great. Yeah, it's really great to hear about all these initiatives, so just keep going.
I'm so nervous. And we did the Kids Ability Playground. There was a hearing loop demo and a review of the draft accessibility standards that took place in June. We reviewed many different sections like the internal and external barriers. And it's back to you, and hopefully you can do a better job.
What's next? With the help of David, a surveyor from engineering, GRAC has developed a 360-degree view of our barriers in the built environment tour through Uptown. It's a great way to share accessibility, insight, and learning with the wider community. The new sensory room, planned for Albert McCormick Community Center and equipped with a ceiling track lift, will be a vital new resource for community members. We are really encouraged to see the city moving forward with this project, as this will support a variety of visible and non-visible disabilities. The Hidden Disability Sunflower Program is another initiative being considered. These lanyards have helped people voluntarily signal that they have a hidden disability or condition and who may need a bit more time, understanding, or assistance from staff in public spaces. Ongoing priorities. A universal washroom is needed in the Waterloo Park. Currently, the only reasonable accessible washroom in the park is located near the splash pad at the Father David Boyer Drive. But it does not have an adult change table or a ceiling track lift. Without more useful washroom space, people sometimes opt out going or less or not at all into the community. Having this in the park would provide a safe and private space to assist people with disability to participate fully in the park life. There's also a strong desire for an accessible swing to make outdoor play space more inclusive and enjoyable for all ages and abilities. When the term of this committee is up, GRAC would like to be actively involved in recruiting new representatives to make sure the committee has a broader range of lived experience and community perspective. Finally, GRAC would like to thank Council and City staff for their ongoing support and passion for creating a more accessible Waterloo. Any questions?
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for your presentation. And it is very nerve-wracking to be at the podium for people who have done it many times. And I know you've both done it a few times, and you both did great. And thanks for naming the nervousness. It's always good to know how people are feeling, I think. And sometimes it can just kind of decompress you, too. I don't know if that helped, but thank you so much. And no need to apologize ever for being nervous. I'll open it up to questions. Oh, so many questions. See, your presentation has the most questions also. Sorry to everyone else for saying that. I saw Councillor Wright's hand first, and then Mayor McCabe, and then I'll end with Councillor Hanmer as the liaison.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. I just want to comment really briefly that the tours and education opportunities that you've provided to Council have been so helpful in understanding what GRAC is advocating for. There's nothing like being in the place to really experience what the barriers are and to have had such great guides in that work. So thank you to all of you who are here today who have taken that role and given us your time and shared your experiences with us. So helpful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you through you, Chair Basic. Thanks very much again to both of you for chairing GRAC and to all the GRAC members for the work that you do. And I think, really just as Councillor Wright said, like it really is helpful, the educational tours and the amount of work you do reviewing projects and designs and things like that. So thank you so much, because we are really trying. I know there's a lot of work to do, but we really are trying to build a Waterloo that is accessible and available for people of all ages, stages, and abilities. So, but one of the things I did want to ask you about was, I understand from some of the GRAC members that one of the other things that you are interested in is having hybrid council meetings, because there's a lot of things on your list there, but is that still something that you have on your priority list, or?
Yes.
For the upcoming, okay.
Yes, upcoming will still continue with hybrid.
Yeah.
To facilitate.
Sorry, I meant our council meetings becoming hybrid, so that people who aren't able to physically come to our.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be so nice.
Yeah.
So persons who can't make it, they can see.
Yeah,
and
okay.
join.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up so that, for some of the committee members who aren't here, and, some of the people I know who continue to ask me about that, and I know Clerks is aware that this is something that's important as well. I don't know what the timelines are or anything like that, but I just wanted you to know that we're aware it's a request, and we're kind of working through as much as we can with the funding that we have given staff. So just wanted to make sure we're aware of it.
Yes, Thank you very much
Okay,
for bringing that.
thanks again.
Thank you, Chair Vasic, through you. Alyssa and Tamara, thank you so much. You both were awesome. You did a really good job. Very, very well done. Colleagues, as you can see, GRAC is very, very active and very, very busy. I'm humbled to be the staff or the council liaison for Waterloo. I learned so much each and every meeting. And I think our city has benefited quite a bit by the work that's being done. A shout out to the Built Form Committee that's sitting almost right behind you, led by Paula Saunders. Mayor talked about the fact that it's helped us quite a bit, and the education that we've had. But I think more importantly, by bringing GRAC in earlier on some of our initiatives, it's also helped save us in redoing some of the activities. And I think we've learned the hard way that it's important to have early upfront conversations with GRAC so that mistakes that can be avoided or issues that can be avoided can be dealt with quickly. So thank you very much for that. I really do enjoy the work that is going, and I do look forward to, I know the snow report is coming, Alyssa. We've talked about it lots, so I anticipate that'll have good debate and lively discussion with the ideas that are coming forward from GRAC. So thank you so much for being here today, and for the committee members that are here as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you both so much, and thank you everyone who has come. We're nearing the end of our agenda, so snack time is soon, though we do have one more council report and a few more. Oh gosh, yes, of course, thank you. Councillor Hanmer's moving the GRAC report, and Councillor Rowe is seconding it, and all in favor, carried unanimously. Thank you. Great. But before we do move on to the second staff report, I do want to acknowledge that even though Councillors Roach and Freeman did not have committees on this list, they are indeed involved as council liaisons on other committees and boards. And even those who are on committees listed here have other appointments. So as we had the earlier banter, which is not typical of a chair, but this is so structured for me, so I make it a little bit more fun for myself. Councillor Freeman is on the Innova board of directors as the finance chair, and the finance chair being a role that takes up quite a substantial amount of additional time as well. Audit committee, dog designation, dog designation. Nope, not anymore. That's Councillor Hanmer and Councillor Rowe. And Councillor Roach is on sign variance committee, as well as a board as well as a board member on the Kitchener-Waterloo Art Gallery as well. So I just want to acknowledge that even though they're not here, they are still very much involved. Yes, we're all involved in lots of different things. I'm not naming them all because I won't know them all, but yes, we have a very engaged council, both in council work and then also taking on things that are not related to council as well. So I'll move on to item 12B, staff report, which is the 2025 committee night annual report. There's no presentation, but Natalia is available for questions. Does anyone have any questions of Natalia? Okay, great. Who wants to move this? Councillor Bodley and Councillor Freeman. Excellent. All in favor? It's carried unanimously. Now we're going to blow through this, guys. Number 13, consideration of notice of motion given at previous meeting, none. Notice of motion, none. Communications and correspondence, none. Unfinished business, none. Questions? Does any council member have questions? The staff? Excellent. Well done, everyone. Number 18, new business. Does anyone have new business to share? Mayor McCabe, then Councillor Roach.
This weekend, I will be attending the Foxnet Kids Ability fundraiser. They've done a great job in their fundraisers, raised over $200,000, so it's a great event that many of us should be at.
I wasn't sure if you were mentioning, so I'll just raise briefly that at the region of Waterloo last week, they put a lot of time and energy and lots of community consultation into a new anti-hate and anti-discrimination campaign called We All Belong Here. So there's a website, webelongwr.ca. that I encourage people to go to. There's a pledge you can take, but also importantly, there's support and information there for people who have or are experiencing racism, hate directed at them, etc. And there's also, I'm not fully on my game today. There's also, there's a place to report if you've been the victim of hate recently or, in the past, because they really are encouraging people to report whatever kind of incidences that they encounter, so that we really do, including the police and the community safety well-being plan, we really have a better understanding of how prevalent and frequent this challenge is. So we all belong here. So encourage people to look up that website, take the pledge, and report and take action when they see that. Thank you.
Okay, no other new business. Excellent. Number 19, enactment of bylaws. Who wants to move that? Councillor Rowe, Mayor McCabe, all in favor? All of us, and adjournment. Who's going to move that? Oh, Councillor Wright, Councillor Freeman.
Sorry, can we,
Oh.
I've just also wondered if with the people who are here, again, just if there's, with our communications director, if anyone who's interested, if we could just sort of gather to take a quick picture together, because it's a nice opportunity to just, grab a, what did you call it, social proof?
Oh yeah, the kids taught me that.
But just to, show people how many people are from the community are contributing to the work that we do here. So if you'd like, we'll just gather up here quickly.
Sorry,
And then
did
the
we
reception.
adjourn?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, I
So
wanted to
who
say
do we
that
have?
before
Councillor
we
Wright,
adjourn.
Councillor Freeman, all in favor? Great. Okay, photo, then snacks.